When you get to connector, you'll generally want to throw a smoke at the bottom. This denies any fast pushes from the T's, but also allows you to focus only on catwalk, since the entire bottom part will be covered by smoke. The smoke should land more towards the center of mid so that it extends further out. Doing this gives you the option to peek underpass with cover from top mid. Often T's will Molotov connector to prevent you from peeking. One way around this is to pre-smoke the right side of connector to extinguish the Molotov, leaving you enough space to peek. Keep in mind though that with the best spawns, the T's can already be at the mid boxes by the time you make it into connector, so you generally want to stay in connector and avoid peeking top mid. Sometimes the T's will smoke the bottom of connector instead. When this happens, you have the option to shoot gaps through the top of the smoke, which can be used to spot if T's are actually moving up short. And this isn't limited to a certain type of connector smoke. After testing various landing positions, most of the time you can shoot holes in the smoke as long as it lands on this area of the steps. How close you are to the smoke impacts how much you'll get to see. Another important part of connector is understanding when T's can come from underpass. If a T runs the entire way to underpass, they'll arrive at roughly 141. If they walk to avoid being heard by the short player, it would be about 136. So if you want to delay the underpass player, just make sure you throw your smoke or Molotov with these timings in mind. The most common way to actually aggress underpass is with a middle click flash. This flash will blind even a player towards the back of underpass, and the bottom connector smoke will allow you to escape. Most players tend to spot underpass by simply holding it, but a safe way to just get info is to jiggle peek with a smoke or Molotov out. It's a hard shot for the T's to hit, and if they push you, you simply use your utility as you fall back. If you still want to play inside a connector, you can hide at this spot on top of the box. This is a spot that can only be cleared if the T goes at least halfway up the stairs. They won't be able to see you from the bottom of connector. If you're playing outside a connector and you decide to keep your smoke, you can jiggle peek with it at the top. As soon as you see the T, you can use the smoke to delay them from pushing up. Something to keep in mind is when T's creep up connector, usually they'll hug the side closer to jungle. This is because going up on the side closer to stairs exposes the T to someone playing on short much more than if they went up on the jungle side. So as a CT, you should expect T's coming up along the left side much more often than the right. If you get smoked out at the top of connector, you have the option of holding from the stairs side or the jungle side. Holding from the stairs side allows you to see if a T goes on the box, but if the smoke lands too close to the entrance, you'll have a hard time spotting them. Another thing to note is if you play in this corner, the T can technically see the edge of your body without you seeing them. Playing on the jungle side can be quite difficult since you can be squeezed from multiple places at once. To avoid being squeezed, you have the option to move to window. If the window smoke is still up, something Nico likes to do is to go into the smoke and cross to the left side of window. Once the smoke fades, he peeks the bottom of connector. By making this play, you ensure that nobody boosts window when the smoke fades, while also taking the opportunity to get information at mid. In general, if you find yourself on the stairs side wanting to cross the jungle, the safest way to do so is by jumping across. This is what it looks like in third person. Similarly, if you get pinned on one of the sides, jumping across to the other side is a great way to reposition and avoid the duel. As a connector player, you'll likely find it more useful to have an HE instead of a second flash, since there's so many opportunities to break smokes with them. Here's some smokes you'll likely encounter that are worth breaking. The top mid smoke by throwing it off the left wall, the bottom connector smoke to spot both cat and the bottom of mid, the jungle smoke to spot players crossing into A site from either ramp or connector, and of course the A execute smokes that cover jungle and stairs. You can also use the HE to damage T's as they're coming out of ramp. One way to actively fight the A execute is to use a Molotov for Palace and toss a smoke directly in front to push in. The Molotov pushes back the Palace player from holding the smokes, while the smoke gives you room to catch players crossing into the A site. You might have noticed that JL stepped on something that made his view go up while taking the fights. This was because he went on top of the trash bin. Doing this doesn't require a jump, and it gives you a slightly higher view that may allow you to spot over the edge of a smoke. As well, you can dodge the T spam because they're often not shooting that high. Keep in mind it's not uncommon for lurkers to be mid during an A push. In this example, instead of helping his teammates right away, Liege takes the time to clear mid first before coming back. This ensures at least a window of time where he can help his teammates without worrying about a flank. If you want to maintain connector control for longer, your teammates can help you re-smoke the bottom from a couple different spots. The short player can throw a smoke from the bricks area, and the window player can throw a smoke without peeking into mid. Here's some ways to put pressure at mid. If you have a good spawn, you can jump out of window and throw an HE just behind the top mid smoke before moving to connector. If the Ts use their best spawn, they'll take a decent amount of damage. If you want to aggress mid from connector, one way to set it up is to have a teammate throw the mid box's Molotov from window. This often deters Ts from crossing towards the boxes in the first place, giving you time to creep up middle and fight a player behind the top mid smoke. The bottom connector smoke can be adjusted slightly to the left if you plan to aggress mid. By doing this, you leave more of a gap so you can spot the cross, but still remain close to the wall for cover. If you don't see anyone cross, you can then push up. But be mindful that a T who runs full sprint with the best spawn can actually cross to this very right corner without you seeing. The one way around that is to jump out of window right away and throw the Molotov behind boxes. Even with the worst spawn, you'll be able to see them crossing to the right. And if they happen to be just behind the boxes, the Molotov will force them out on either side. Throwing an HE in the smoke will let you catch them if they're falling back. If you bring a teammate, you can throw a simple smoke at the underpass entrance and use this boost to spot top mid. This is a very hard shot for the Ts even if they see it coming. As well, there's no risk of getting spammed from underpass because even without a smoke, the T won't be able to see the boost unless they run all the way to the entrance. If there isn't a smoke at window, you can also use this boost to punish the underpass player walking up. That's gonna be it. If you like this video, you might want to check this one out too.